It's called The SILPH Road is Shutting Down by Count Jinsula. So let's see.
It is the end of an era. The SILPH Road, which has been serving the Pokemon Go community for over 7 years, is closing down, like they're ceasing operations.
Yeah.
This is a huge hit to the Pokemon Go community and Pokemon Go itself.
It is true.
I really do not know where we're going to be going from here, but it's not looking good for the future of this game. I'm going to be talking about all of this in today's video.
It's a good concern. Or valid concern, I say. Yeah, but for the most part, SILPH Road is actually where my PvP career started too in Pokemon Go. I remember doing the Sinister Cup in person somewhere in Montebello. It's where I met a decent amount of the people who I'm still friends with today. So yeah, it is actually insane to see this happen, but it also makes sense when you look at really just like the state of Pokemon Go, where it's at, and even the peak ceiling for a content creator in Pokemon Go. And if you look at this website, it is a community run. It's not like they were ever really asking for subscriptions or money. I was looking at their Reddit posts they put out, their daily user base, and how much stuff, how many battles and all that they've hosted is insane. I've even hosted tournaments on my stream via SILPH Road. So this is insane.
Hey, how's it going, everyone? It's me, it's Jinsula. I hope you're having a good day.
This is my first time actually watching this guy's video, so cool to check him out.
Okay, so you heard it right. The SILPH Road, which has been a staple component of the Pokemon Go experience, is going to be ceasing operations. Of course, the SILPH Road has been a really big component to the Pokemon Go community. Like, they've been doing a lot of research on a lot of different game mechanics, and they've been a very strong resource for players who are just looking to get more information about this game.
It's very true.
Unfortunately, this website is no longer going to be available after a certain period, and I really am devastated by this, because the SILPH Road has been such an important part of my Pokemon Go experience.
I'll turn this up a bit.
A lot of other players as well.
Is that loud enough?
I really do not know what the game is going to look like without this resource. Like, Pokemon Go really needed the SILPH Road. Like, I don't think it's ever going to get replaced. The developers
it's kind of
that it had a lot to do with financial stability and, of course, the declining momentum that the game is experiencing. They were actually being supported.
Yeah, the thing is, he's actually about to say how they were supported by Niantic. I'll just let him say it. Because they were actually funded the last year by Niantic.
Yeah, it's a really sad day, and I really do think the game
21K? Holy smokes, no luck yet?
And I'm really curious to see how the Pokemon Go community...
Alright, let's start hatching Score Bunny.
I really feel like when it comes to the SILPH Road, I just cannot imagine how the game will be without this resource. And it's not just the information resources. Like, the SILPH Road was a huge component in building up the current Pokemon Go community. Like,
I'm sorry,
all the
bro.
influencers and all the people, like during meetups,
hopefully it comes soon.
A lot of them were connected through the SILPH Road. So
yeah, it's true. There's like handshakes that they would give out. I never did them personally, but I know a lot of people were into that.
Niantic is mainly the culprit for that. I feel like Niantic is wanting the SILPH Road closed down so that they could have their own community.
I don't necessarily agree with this sentiment. I actually was getting the... Okay, so maybe this is a little bit of a hot take. Whenever I saw that they've been funded by Niantic for the past year, I didn't even realize this. I thought I'd never realized this. I would actually say that Niantic actually probably stopped funding SILPH Road because just the lack of interest in Pokemon Go PvP in general, which, you know, I could say is a self-sabotage on Niantic's part, but I guess the point I'm trying to say is I don't think that they're deliberately killing this relationship with SILPH Road because they want some type of control over the PvP scene or whatever. I think they just don't see it as a worth of money and resources in comparison to how much of the revenue is actually just generated by a casual player base. So yeah, let's just see. That's just my take on that.
Campfire.
Oh, it was so damn gross.
It's a fact. In the new economy, average people are becoming millionaires faster and easier.
Why can't I?
Well, first and foremost, they were supporting the SILPH Road for the last year. but I really feel like the only reason why they were doing that is so that
they reversed on. Is the volume at a good level
so that
for the video?
Do their own version of the Silph Road, which would be Niantic Campfire. So I'm really curious to see what this is going to be, because a lot of players do not necessarily care about Niantic Campfire, unfortunately. Like, I'm actually a big fan of this particular app because I do think there are some really
the app was really cool.
Great ways for you to connect with
so I've never used Campfire myself, but when I was at Portland, I saw some of the other trainers using it. And it made a lot of sense, especially for a regional where there's a lot of Pokemon Go players meeting up for a short amount of time for a few days, because a lot of those raids are very much, you know, in walking distance, and you can just kind of like knock out a raid boss or two easily with that many people. But yeah, very interesting.
Through this app, but unfortunately it's not widely
I personally haven't used it.
It's not widely used right now, so unfortunately its proper usage is not fully utilized because there's just not a huge influx of players that are going to be using it the way it's intended. So
very true.
I really feel like if Niantic wants to do
people just use Discord or WhatsApp,
Silph Road, then they really need to step it up with Niantic Campfire's development. But unfortunately, they haven't really been doing that. And because the Silph Road was around for close
for anyone who's just tuning in, I'm watching a video that just popped up in my recommended. I already saw this news and I was going to discuss a little bit, but this is a great synopsis of what's going on. There was a really big community-driven website called Silph Road that was a great resource for the Pokemon Go player base. And they put out a tweet yesterday that they are actually shutting down the website fairly soon. And yeah, it's a lot of people are trying to discuss and speculate what this means. Does this mean losing a resource like this will obviously take a big blow to the community, but you know, will there be something to replace this? Is this just a big L for Pokemon Go at this point? It's very interesting.
Like, a lot of players were very used to the tools that the Silph Road gave, and I really feel like because of that, anything Niantic produces that is very similar to the Silph Road is just not going to stick, and I think they have failed to realize that. Now, I mean,
it is true. Maybe they are. I mean, what do I know? Maybe they are trying to monopolize this.
Doesn't want to create their own version.
It's an interesting take.
And they just could not afford continuing.
I just don't feel like that's what they would be doing personally.
Niantic is kind of in a weird place right now. Like, they've been going in a very weird direction with Pokemon Go. It's been very unfriendly towards the Pokemon Go community, and it seems like they want to go their own way, and they're gaslighting the Pokemon Go community along the way. They've been making very drastic changes to Pokemon Go, most of them being unfavored by the Pokemon Go community, and they're trying to let us believe that it is for the good of the game, which nobody.
I mean, I'm kind of not as invested, so maybe.
Happy with a lot of these directions, and they do not.
It's an interesting thing to think about. So what if the game just shut down?
I don't know why they are making these.
You know, like seeing a website like this just shut down. I think it kind of shakes a lot of people's worlds who are, you know, maybe daily Pokemon Go users, players. I said users, players. You know, it's kind of like scary to think maybe their investment might not be secured tomorrow. So it is interesting to think, like, what is happening with this game. It's just a community. It's a very valuable resource in the Pokemon Go community, this website.
People are playing Pokemon Go
and it's shutting down.
Because that's not how Niantic plays their game. They completely go in the opposite direction, trying to force us to play the way they want us to play. And that is a horrible philosophy to have when you're a game developer. Ask anybody. Like,
so say like you're trying. I was explaining one of the things that the website offers earlier. So in Pokemon Go, Pokemon can nest at parks. So say you have like a park near your house. It could spawn a specific group of Pokemon, like a Scyther, for example. And that would rotate throughout each event. And on the website, you can actually look at a global atlas and find what the nest near your local parks are from people self-reporting and such on the Silph Road. It's a completely community-driven resource that is public to everyone. And yeah, it was around for pretty much 7 years, 6-7 years, and it's going to be closing down, which is, you know, it's pretty much synonymous with the existence of Pokemon Go, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So a lot of people who have been playing from day one, seeing this resource website go away it's actually kind of insane. Yeah, exactly. Right, Gabe? Like, that's what I was trying to say a little bit earlier is they've hosted PvP tournaments as well. Pretty much any tournament I've ever thrown on my stream where it was a PvP tournament, player versus player, I was hosting it on their website. That's how we were doing the Swiss brackets, was on the SILPH Road. So it was essentially a huge proponent to PvP. I mean, SILPH was the beginning of Pokemon PvP before the regional and like play Pokemon sanction stuff that's going on right now. So yeah, it's just overall like insane to see this happen. Great to see, by the way, Gabe.
World of Warcraft's development history is pretty similar. Like, that went in a direction that was completely against what communities wanted. And
I've always compared Pokemon Go's like changes to World of Warcraft. It's kind of crazy that he's mentioning this.
And started making.
As someone who's been an avid Blizzard fan growing up too, and watching Blizzard kind of take a shit on themselves, it's exactly the same issue. They weren't listening to the player base, and they were just making changes that were more about, you know, instead of making a good product, they were just finding ways to monetize different things to profit more. And that's kind of what Pokemon Go has been doing, it seems, for a bit, is that they've been like reducing the quality of life of the game, making it more grindy, you know, repetitive content that, you know, dives into your time or pocket, or both at the same time.
Design decisions that cater to the community. And
World of Warcraft was like the same thing pretty much. Like, you're like farming for a small chance of a drop, like for days on end or whatever. But then you're paying for the subscription, you know what I'm saying?
And they are very much out of touch. I have a lot of concerns with Pokemon Go right now, and the closure of the SILPH Road is a big part of that. This is kind of like the beginning of the end for
but it's
Pokemon
interesting,
Go, and I think we all need to face the music. I'm not sure if this means like we all have to start moving.
The thing that's fascinating to me is, what does this mean? What is the angle from Niantic or the company? You know, I guess like, I don't think the game will specifically die. I think there'll still be people playing it casually. There's people that don't even associate with this stuff that are players of the game and probably drop money. But it will definitely make a significant change. I mean, there's already been drops in the revenue over the past few months, but even then, like they're still making, even if they drop to 45 million a month, that's an insane amount of money still. Like 45 million a month. Like, yeah, they took a hit for sure, but it's still such an insane amount of profit that I don't know. I guess I'm wondering if it even matters, like them making all these terrible decisions, because this isn't unique or new. I mean, maybe it's unique to Niantic, but I just remember years and years of like very similar, like, not like this website closing down, but this is like kind of the product of years of mismanagement from a company, which is kind of, you know, on Niantic.
Moving on to other things, but when it comes to Pokemon Go, it definitely feels like this game is on the decline. Like, people are not as excited about in-person events.
It's so crazy that this all happened. I'm not even gonna lie, I was playing Go Battle League last night. I like got the rank 5 and I've only lost one battle so far. And I was thinking about doing a stream for Go Battle Day. But then I saw all this stuff and I'm like, I don't even know, should I just like not play again? Like, I haven't played Pokemon Go seriously in like 6 months or more. And I don't know, I was actually kind of just like thinking about it, like, you know, it doesn't really matter. I can just enjoy playing the game how I used to play it. And yeah, it's crazy. Because now I'm like, I don't know, man.
Blood between the developers and the Pokemon Go community, and just in general.
I mean, maybe that was the key, playing it for fun.
Stagnant. Like, there hasn't been anything exciting
but I don't know.
Added to the game. I mean, recently a bunch of my fellow content creators were flown out to Seattle in order to test out some upcoming new features, and because of NDA, they can't obviously share anything.
I wonder what it is.
But, you know,
most people have no clue that in 2023 the best way to make money on Amazon is not.
You know, I feel like Niantic
that's gonna happen occasionally.
Kitchen, and they better come up with it soon, because honestly, the game is in such a stark decline right now. And if they want to save this game, if they want to keep this game,
the community's been dying. There's a big
they better
update that happened recently that kind of like outraged the community. Not kind of, but absolutely did.
Earlier on this year. I mean, I said this on social media, but it is without question that this is the absolute worst year so far for Niantic and Pokemon Go. The whole tour event.
You know what's so funny though when you think about it? It's like they have to fly out these content creators, and like they could have just looked at their Twitter feed to figure out what's going on. Like, I guess like they're testing out a feature for sure, but it's insane how tone deaf the company is. I made a video over 2 years ago reading Glassdoor reviews on Niantic's website, and it's kind of funny that, I don't know, I've seen this resurgence of people mentioning the Glassdoor reviews over the last like few months, and I just think it's so funny how like, I don't know, like years ago I was just like saying this stuff. But I mean, I'm not trying to like pat myself on the back. I mean, maybe a little bit for sure. But it is kind of sad to see SILPH Road, because I myself have a lot of personal experiences of pretty much the majority of my friends that I play Pokemon Go with, I've only known because of the SILPH Road. That's the most insane part about this website shutting down. Sinister Cup, my first season of my Ferocious Cup win that got me like 10 in the world briefly. That was insane. Who's this guy? So this, it's just a YouTube channel called Count Jinsula. It got recommended to me, and he's discussing about a website that was really big in the Pokemon Go community, how it's announced they're shutting down. So I'm just kind of seeing his take on the news, because he's a little bit more involved in the community, it seems. And yeah, I just want to see someone else's perspective that is a more active user of Pokemon Go at the moment. Yeah, exactly, Gabe. They could just be reading their, like, literally for months on every platform. You go on Instagram, on Twitter, you look at their tweets. It's just non-stop. Like, here's Niantic. There's like a 1 and 2 version. It's insane.
Going in a direction of just greedy monetization, and a lot of players are very unhappy about that. For the fact that Pokemon Go Fest is going to cost you close to $70 for the full experience.
There's a lot of people going to Go Fest still, which I have no. Like, I understand. Like, honestly,
a whole weekend worth of gameplay.
Sorry, I keep pausing it. Like, I have a friend who I won't name drop. I mean, I have a lot of friends who are going to Go Fest, but like one friend in particular who I saw in Portland and talked to a bit, they were talking about how they're going to New York, and it's like they already wanted to go to New York. They're going to make a trip out of it and then also do Go Fest. And honestly, the whole reason people should be doing these events is not because of, like, you can look at like, you know, don't do the event. I'm not doing the event personally. But it's not even necessarily because I'm protesting. I just have no interest really in doing it. And I guess that kind of like coincides because my lack of interest is due to Niantic. So I guess in a way it is a protest. But I don't blame people for wanting to go to these events still, because Pokemon Go is only good because of the social connections you've made in the game. And that's why people are really upset about this website shutting down, is because most of our friendships and communities were thriving due to websites like SILPH Road. It's kind of interesting. I mean, it's give and take. I mean, granted they are in-person events, but are they really like blocked off so other people aren't there? It's like difficult because Niantic is notorious for having very faulty in-person events. So I don't really know. I'm not gonna sit here and like discuss that too long.
That's no longer the case anymore. So yeah, there's just a lot of negative things going on with Pokemon Go, that this is definitely going to be considered the absolute worst year that this game has ever seen. Which is a real shame, because at the beginning of this year, it was actually looking really promising. Like, they were implementing some...
There was some pretty decent updates.
With some really
I'm telling you,
spawns, and they had some...
The minute they introduced level 41 to 50, they killed the game. They kill, like, what's the point of having level 41 to 50 aside adding more grinding to the game? Yeah, sure, it gives people something to do. And granted, yes, those levels don't really matter either, the way they changed the update. So you could be level 40 and you're fine. But I think because they added the XL candy next to it, and they've never, to this point, yes, they've made XL candy more accessible, but they've never made XL candy accessible on the same level as rare candy. Because I remember I could do raids back at the beginning of Pokemon Go and turn legendaries to level 40. I maxed out my Mew to level 40, a mythical Pokemon, just by using rare candies I had in my bag. That's how easy it was to do. You just did raids, you got the candy, you were able to max out things. You didn't have to do like 30-something raids of the same Pokemon in hopes of getting enough XL candy, or whatever people have to do for their grind. So I feel like the minute that happened, they just killed the game. It was just like bound to continuously go this direction. I'm just surprised they've doubled down hard on like a lot of these updates. Because a lot of people are just, they've accepted XL candy as the way the game is.
Out of nowhere, and it's just a shame to see.
I've never accepted it.
It's
just like, wow.
As of late. Again, it's a real shame.
It's a never, yeah, it's like the grind never ends, essentially, yeah. Some people like it, but it's like, come on, like just allow a game to give you time to do something else.
To meet some of them in previous Go Fests, and they're a bunch of really dedicated, really passionate people, and I just wish them the best.
Oh, yeah.
Like, whatever they end up doing after the SILPH Road, I really hope it's a huge success, and it gets the support that they deserve. So
yeah, messed up PvP for sure.
SILPH Road subreddit is going
it just made things more of a grind fest, inaccessible for new players.
But yeah, the website itself is closing down, so unfortunately, you won't be able to find nests in your area. You won't be able to look up a whole bunch of information regarding shiny rates and catch rates and all of that sort of thing. It's just a very dark time for Pokemon Go, and I really do not know where the game's going to be in the next year or so, but we'll just have to wait and see. But in any case, yeah, that's going to be it for this video. I would love to know your thoughts regarding everything that I talked about.
You heard my thoughts. I pretty much gave them the whole time.
About the SILPH Road closing? Did you
pause this like so many times.
The SILPH Road and this
is a cool video though. Definitely respect to this guy.
In the comments,
he had a good approach.
Let's have
I feel like I have watched one of his videos in the past.
And yeah, if you ended up enjoying this video, make sure you hit that thumbs up button and subscribe.
So yeah, that's essentially the gist.
And don't forget that little bell so you can
I'll link this guy's video in the chat here in a second.
And I want to give a quick shout out.
If you want to give it a like, also.
Patreon. You make this channel content possible. If you want to support my channel in any way, big or small, then do consider becoming.
Yeah, exactly. You can get like a real game, not to be whatever.
Jinsula, be safe, have fun, love yourself.
I'm being a little facetious. That was cool. I'm gonna give this guy a sub too. He deserved it. That was a nice delivery. Yeah, that was an interesting, unfortunate news. And Sass Squad's getting stronger each and every day. Good morning, evening, afternoon, over tuning in. I'll catch you in the next one.